Thanks to Hollywood, one of the first things that'll pop into anyone's mind at the thought of bringing back extinct animals are usually dinosaurs. But there's so much to what we see in movies and on TV shows, and it's going to be one of mankind's greatest accomplishments. De-Extinction introduces the opportunity to clone and revive animals long thought lost to us. Genetics has been an advanced field since the mid-19th century thanks to a monk named Gregor Mendel, a monk who would experiment on green beans in his garden. Today we have men like George Church, who's leading an entirely different experiment on something much bigger than vegetables. A professor of genetics at Harvard Medical School, and infamous for his work on synthetic DNA, in 2001, George Church founded a company called the Colossal Biosciences. This company focuses on one thing: de-extinction. And in 2013, he performed a TED Talk titled Hybridizing with Extinct Species, and between the moniker of 6 minutes and 28 seconds and 8 minutes, he goes in depth on the crossing of a critically endangered Tasmanian devil and the now extinct thylacine, both marsupials. Unfortunately, the Tasmanian devil has a genetic defect where it develops cancer even after biting each other. And he thinks that by mixing in the thylacine DNA, he'll be able to rewrite their genetic code and put a stop to it and hopefully save the species. And while it's fascinating, we think we have the possibility to bring back animals thought to have been long gone, like the mammoth, which has been extinct for 4,000 years. There are some concerns that going too far back with the animals puts more of a risk at the animals that are in trouble now. Dr. Beth Shapiro, a professor of ecology and evolutionary biology, would give a speech at the University of California in 2018 and will be quote saying, "Instead of focusing on the science fiction of bringing something back that's gone, we use the same strategies to save species that are still alive." The importance of the pros of de-extinction bring with it a strong hope for the future of our environments. And while we don't need species of old reintroduced necessarily, the dire situation of bringing back more recent species are what makes the subject genetics and preservation vital. There is no better example of species in need of genetic miracle than the white rhino. The last white rhino male perished in 2018, leaving only 2 left in the wild, but they're both female. PBS on March 2nd released a documentary on a man named Thomas Hildebrand, a vet that was responsible for the implantation and the first successful rhino embryo implantation into a surrogate mother. Professor Hildebrand is the head of the Department of Reproductive Management in Kenya and has been known to use the resources of Dr. Church's Colossal Biosciences to further the genetic pool for the critically endangered white rhino. So it's not exactly a Hollywood bestseller. In fact, it's an ongoing tale with no solid ending. But it is clear that it's extremely important that de-extinction will end up being in our favor and will help with our future and all living things on our planet's future.